Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're digging into the source material of a pretty intense crisis. We're going to see what happens when a tragic breaking news story slams right into the world of artificial intelligence. And, well, the AI just completely breaks. You know, in those chaotic hours right after the death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, that question became everything. Social media was just flooded with information. But here's the crazy part. So much of it wasn't just wrong. It was being created by the very AI tools that we're told we should be relying on more and more. All right, so first, we really need to wrap our heads around the scale of the chaos here. Let's dive into the digital storm that just erupted after this event. We're going to see exactly how AI didn't just report on the confusion, it actually made it way, way worse. And here's why this is so important. This isn't just some isolated glitch. We're actually using this one tragic event as a case study to really understand a much bigger problem, which is this fundamental weakness AI has when it comes to breaking news. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. How exactly did these AIs fall apart? We're about to run through a whole catalog of errors from some of the biggest names in tech. And what you're going to see is, well, it's a pretty concerning pattern. All right, first up, Grock. This is the AI chatbot that's built right into the social media platform X. As the story was unfolding in real time, X's own tool became one of the main sources of false information, just pumping out confusion at the absolute worst possible moment. And listen, we are not talking about small mistakes here. These were massive, fundamental failures. Grock got the suspect wrong 10 separate times. It claimed Kirk was still alive a day after he died. It even called the official FBI reward a hoax. This wasn't just bad reporting, it was a total breakdown of reality. The chaos was so bad, Grock couldn't even keep its own story straight. I mean, one minute, it's saying the suspect was a registered Republican. The next, a nonpartisan voter. And the actual truth? Nope, neither was right. But it wasn't just Grock. Oh no. The AI-powered search engine Perplexity took things to a whole new level of bizarre. Its bot on X described the real-world tragedy as a hypothetical scenario. And it claimed the actual White House statement about Kirk's death was a fake. Just unbelievable. So what did the company say? In response, they basically admitted their tool isn't reliable, saying it never claims to be 100% accurate. They pointed out that their bot on X was running on older tech, and maybe not surprisingly, they ended up just pulling it from the platform entirely. And even Google, right, the titan of information, was not immune to this. Its AI overview feature, that summary box at the top of your search results, it made a really dangerous mistake. It wrongly named the person of interest as the last guy who would simply ask Kirk a question before he was killed. It implicated a totally innocent person. And Google's response, well, it really gets to the heart of the problem. That phrase, the rapidly evolving nature of this news. So why do all these systems, from Grock to Google, fail so spectacularly when information is moving fast? Well, the answer is in how they're built from the ground up. Right, so this is the crucial part. Understanding why this happens across so many different platforms. You got to realize it's not just a bug in one system. It's actually a feature of how all these things are designed. This right here is what it all comes down to. According to an expert, S. Shyam Sundar at Penn State, generative AI isn't built to find truth. It's a probability engine. It just scans unbelievable amounts of data from the internet, and then it predicts what the most likely next word should be to form an answer. And just like Sundar says, it's not based on fact-checking. The AI isn't sending a reporter to the scene, it's not verifying sources, it is just making a really, really sophisticated guess based on all the confusing, messy, and often flat-out wrong information that's swirling around online during a crisis. So you have this fundamental technical flaw, and that leads us to the final piece of the puzzle, our own psychology, and why we are so vulnerable to this kind of machine-made misinformation. Now, this is a really critical insight from Sundar. We have this psychological bias where we tend to see machines as objective, as neutral. You might be skeptical of a random person's post on social media, but when that same info comes from a slick AI interface, we tend to just automatically trust it more. And here's the scary part. This vulnerability isn't just an accident waiting to happen, it's being actively exploited. The governor of Utah actually warned that foreign adversaries are using bots to inject disinformation right into these chaotic moments on purpose to try and sow division and even encourage violence. And his advice, in the face of this really complex threat, was actually incredibly simple. First, recognize what's happening. Second, just ignore and turn off those streams of information causing all the chaos. And third, maybe just spend a little less time on social media when these things happen. So, at the end of the day, this case study isn't really about one event or one set of AI tools. It's a critical, real-world lesson for how we have to navigate the news in the age of AI. It forces us to ask a really tough question. When these machines are designed for probability instead of truth, when the next big story breaks, where are you going to place your trust?